Morning freaks, how are we today? I did a 50k ride this morning. I didn't record it because, well, I've been recording all of my early morning sessions lately and they all look the exact fucking same. It's just dark, shitty iPhone footage. So I did it, if you just have to trust me. But I'm loving training at the moment. I'm having so much fun. It's so nice to not be pain limited with training. I'm just fucking loving it and I'm just absorbing every second of this aerobic capacity building phase. I just can't wait to be fit once again. Now, this video is proudly sponsored by the hats. The hats paid me very handsomely under the table to sponsor them. They're insane hats. They're so good. I'm so hyped. There's 3 new colors coming soon. I was just talking to the manufacturer, supplier guy this morning. Now, right now, I'm entering this new phase of my running to get myself back to being an insanely fast runner. This is just phase 1, the base building phase, probably the most important one and probably the most fun. And in the past, I've made videos about base building and unfortunately, I've learned a lot since then. Well, fortunately, actually. And I've learned that what I was talking about previously was just way too much for a base building phase. And so I'm gonna fix that today. I'm going to talk about exactly what I'm going to do to get myself fitter, starting with base building. Now, the reason why base building is so important is because you can't just smash all year round. Like, I've tried that in the past and it just does not work. You need to have time off where you're doing something other than 5k, pace reps. You just can't do it all year round. It's fucked. Like, there are a lot of physiological adaptations that take place in base building, which we'll talk about in a sec. But the most important thing for this is to regain the fun and the relaxed, lifestyle that is base building, because you can't smash all year round. You need to have days and weeks and probably months where you're just chilling and having lots of fun, because running should be fun. And sometimes when you're in the middle of an insane prep, running stops being fun. So objective number 1 for base building is vibes and fun. High vibes, high fun, lots of mileage, just having fun, chilling out, pretending to be a beginner again, and just running easy with some little sprinkled stuff in there. Because from my experience, the body tells you if something is not going well, because things stop being fun. And I guarantee that if you actually went and had some investigations done during these hard preps where you're really grinding it out and struggling quite a bit and not feeling very good and not sleeping very well, cortisol would be high, stress hormones would be high, your sexual hormones will probably be low, maybe your blood values would start to change, and you'd probably see on blood tests that you're not doing too well. Like, think about this. How many times have you been in a race specific prep or something like that, and then you've just got sick race prep after race prep after race prep? That's because you're pushing really hard and then your immune system starts to get suppressed. So, you can't really argue with this point, really. Now, the physiological aspects of base building, the whole goal is to build mitochondrial density. If you can start to build more mitochondria, that means more aerobic power. That means faster running speeds at an aerobic pace. That means that everything pushes up. I think there's also an aspect of capillarization. Tissues get more capillary density in, working, running muscles, which is also very, very valuable. This stuff only comes from massive amounts of volume over time, okay? And base building is the perfect time to do that when stress levels are low, when intensity levels are low, volume is high, lots of mitochondria, baby, let's fucking go. Now, another thing that really benefits from the high volume that is base building is tissue resilience. All of the bones and joints and tendons and muscles and connective tissues all build up slowly over time if you just do massive amounts of volume during this base building phase. You're trying to build the tissue resilience so that when you do start to break it down, which you inevitably will do during a race prep when the intensity is quite high, then you're going to have a lot of leeway in terms of how much you can push your body before it starts to really break down and you start to get some painful things going on. And the good thing about base training is that it can go for as long as you want. It can go for 6 weeks. It can go for 3 months. It can go for 6 months. It can go for an entire year. It can be your default training zone when you have no specific race goals or anything like that. If you decide you don't want to do any races, well, I'm just going to base build and just have fun for a long period of time, build tissue resilience, all that kind of stuff. And then if I do decide to get into a race prep, boom, in we go. I've built all of that mitochondria. I've built that tissue resilience. I've built that aerobic power. I'm ready to go. Base building is the absolute best. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing for my base building phase when I finish work. So I'll see you guys when I finish work. How's the hat looking?
Is it all right? Yep, I think it's good. I think
one thing that I feel is a little bit overlooked with running, and is really prominent in cycling, is training scores or training stress scores. You know, since I've been cycling a little bit more lately, I've been looking into that kind of stuff, and it's really interesting how fatiguing intensity is compared to just doing lots of base training. You know, I did a base ride this morning and my TSS score on Training Peaks was like 60, right? But then on the weekend, I did a 10-minute effort up the hill, a 10-minute effort, and the training score was exactly the same. 50K ride, nice and aerobic, 60. 10-minute effort, really hard, 60. It's so interesting. It just makes you realize that you could get way more volume in if you just drop the intensity a little bit during this base building phase. You know, one day I'm going to get a bigger whiteboard than this, and videos are going to go from 10-minute videos to like hour-long videos. It's going to be crazy. All right. Base building plan. Let's go. Now, one thing to keep in mind before we go any further is that this is my training plan, my base building plan, and yours might be a little bit different. So if you are not a cyclist, okay, and you only run, all you have to do is just modify the cycling sessions and drop the volume by 50%, because generally speaking, you have to double the cycling volume compared to the running volume to get the same training stress score, okay? So if it's a bit confusing, just drop the volume in half. There you go. Okay. So here's my current training split that I'm doing as an example. So on Monday, I'm just running 8Ks and then doing gym in the afternoon. So getting that resilience in the body and getting some nice aerobic base in the run. Then we have a ride interval session. So these intervals are so short. 2-minute intervals with a 2-minute break at like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. So barely even moving the pedals really. It's just about keeping a bit of intensity in there to keep the heart building its capacity and size and stuff, but taking it super easy. And we're going to double on that day to build up some extra volume because, like I said, it's riding, and so you can't get as much potent volume in when you're riding. And then Wednesday is going to be another 8K run, and then a 1 hour easy ride, nice and easy, nothing crazy. Thursday, ride long, that's what I did this morning, nice 2-hour ride, so that would be the equivalent of like a 1 hour run essentially. And we're going to do gym in the afternoon. Remember, we've got to build that resilience. And then Friday is where we get into my fun zone really, because base building should also be fun. So it wouldn't be fun for me to double on Friday because my work schedule is really fucked on Friday. So it's just 8Ks and then that's about it. Because if I try to do something in the afternoon, it wouldn't be fun. Saturday is also a fun day because I'm just going to do one effort up the hill. It takes about 11 minutes. I'm trying to get it to be shorter in the 9-minute range. I'm slowly getting fitter, slowly grinding away at that. But that's just another thing that's just a bit fun, you know. And I'm going to double that day with an easy ride. And then Sunday is going to be my long run, which is going to build up over time. I'll show you that in a second. And another double on Sunday. So as you can see, it's an 11-hour volume week, which is, you know, quite a bit. But the actual intensity of itself is around 40 minutes or so, give or take. Now, this is going to change over time as I progress through this aerobic base building phase. But this is where I would start. And this is where I'm going to stay for probably another 4 to 6 weeks. All right. let's look at what I'm going to get to in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So this is my example week number 2 that I'm going to get to in probably 6 to 8 weeks when I'm still going to be base training. I'm probably going to base train all the way up until about April or May, June kind of area. So I've still got a fair while to go, and I'm going to progress slowly over time. Now, the transition between example week 1 and example week 2 really is the running volume. I'm going to slowly bump up the running volume a little bit and take away a little bit of the riding volume, trying to slowly build that tissue resilience and that aerobic capacity over time while still keeping the volume as high as possible. Now, I've deleted the Tuesday riding threshold session for a Wednesday run session, and I've made sure that after that session, there's no double on that day. It's just going to be resting, building up slowly over time. That is the key. And also keeping it fun. I just redrew it so it looks a little bit easier to understand. Okay, screenshot, 3, 2, 1, go. Now, like I said, this is just my training, and I want you guys to take away these principles to make your own base building training block, okay? Volume is really key. Easy, fun volume. Aim for maybe 1 session per week that's relatively low in volume, okay? The difference between base building phase training and race specific phase is that the intervals that you're doing are fairly easy and they can be fast, but the actual distance that you're covering in these sessions is not going to be a lot. You're not trying to sharpen the blade. You're trying to make the blade bigger, okay? You're not trying to, put the roof on the house. You're trying to build the foundation of the house, brother. You don't have to go crazy with these sessions. All it is about ticking the legs over, building the mitochondria, and not getting hurt. If you can go 4 to 5 months of running volume without getting hurt, think about how resilient your body is going to end up being. You've just been slowly building it up over time and not tearing it down. Hopefully this helps you a little bit. Generally speaking, it's not that complicated. It's just putting in volume, making sure that it feels really fun and really easy throughout the week. You're not getting fatigued. You're not getting tired. You're just taking it easy, enjoying being an active person, and then worrying about the race-specific stuff later down the line when your body is ready. Listen to your body and get it done. See you guys tomorrow.